Today we're going over the top 5 wide receivers in fantasy football for 2022. This list, very simple. Cooper Kupp is number 1. Y'all knew it was coming. I mean, the dude absolutely popped off last year, the best wide receiver one season of all time. He's not going to do that again. He will regress slightly, but let's not act like this dude is just going to be figured out by defenses and he's all of a sudden going to just stop getting targeted. That's not the case. Matthew Stafford targeted him 27 times at a ADOT of over 25 yards. 27 of those deep balls over 25 yards. Jared Goff threw him 4 of those in the last year. Like, the difference between Stafford and Goff isn't being stressed enough. They have a special connection, and he's going to throw him 10 to 12 to 14 targets a game. Like, it's just going to happen again. And he doesn't have to finish as the overall wide receiver 1 to really pay off the price. The reason he is the wide receiver 1 is he doesn't necessarily have to have the most upside. It's because, do you really see a way without Cooper Kupp getting hurt that he would somehow drop out of the top 5 receivers? I don't. You can make that case for anybody behind him, though. There's plenty of situations where those guys behind him fall out. Cooper Kupp is that secure right now. So we love Cooper Kupp. He's still going to get it done. I see him maybe regressing to like 1,650 yards with like 12 touchdowns, which is still far and away the wide receiver 1. I mean, last year he was so far ahead. It's just obviously he has to regress slightly, but not to the point where he can't finish as the wide receiver 1. I hate seeing that argument saying that defenses figured him out. If they figured him out, he wouldn't have been the Triple Crown, Super Bowl MVP. Like, come on. So, next up, number 2 is Justin Jefferson, who I absolutely love this year. He's usually going in drafts about picks 5 to 8, depending on what type of league you're in. I mean, they have this new head coach called Kevin O'Connell. You may have heard of him. He was the offensive coordinator for Cooper Kupp on the Rams. I mean, they're talking about Justin Jefferson being the Cooper Kupp of this offense now. They're also going to be more pass heavy, which that's one of the main reasons I love Thielen and Jefferson so much this year, is because, I mean, they're going to get an absurd amount of targets. I could see Jefferson getting like 180 targets this year. I think he had 169 last year. Yeah, I mean, he's going to be that guy. He's, in my eyes, the most talented receiver in the league. I think he's my number 2 overall in real life behind Devonta. So I see him absolutely thriving. Nobody can stop him. No cornerback you put on him can stop him. He's going to get it done. I see about like 1,600 yards, maybe 10 touchdowns this year. Love Justin Jefferson. There's just no real way for him to fall off without injury. That brings us to our next player, Stefon Diggs. Now, since this is full PPR rankings, Stefon Diggs definitely gets taken over players like Jamar Chase for me, because Jamar Chase only caught 81 balls last year. Stefon Diggs has been targeted 160 times in these past 2 years, and the dude will probably finish with 30 to 40 more catches than Jamar Chase, which is just a very, very big deal. That's 300 to 400 more yards for full PPR. So, we love Stefon Diggs. I mean, he's the number 1 receiver for the Buffalo Bills offense, who everyone thinks is going to go to the Super Bowl. So why would you not love him? And they don't really have a good number 2 option. I mean, Gabe Davis, I really am sick of hearing him. Like, the overhype that this man has had because of a 200-yard 4 TD game is actually crazy. Like, Marvin Jones has also done that, but nobody is, like, going absolutely apeshit over Marvin Jones. Obviously, it's like 3-4 years later, but at the time, nobody did either. I have no idea why Gabe Davis is getting this much hype. He's not a good route runner. Whatever. We're going on a Gabe Davis rant where Stefon Diggs is going to get another 160 to 170 targets, and the dude is just going to pop the fuck off. Like, he is going to go nuts, and that's why he's my wide receiver 3. The wide receiver 4 is going to be Devonta Adams, who I see the move to Derek Carr as definitely a slight decrease in production, mainly in the red zone. Derek Carr has never thrown more than 32 TDs in a season, and that was when he had Michael Crabtree and Amari Cooper. So there is that little bit of, oh, will he get the goal line usage like he did with Aaron Rodgers? Obviously, he won't. Aaron Rodgers has thrown 48 touchdowns before. Derek Carr's never coming close to that, even with his stacked weapons that he has right now. So Devonta we still like, mainly because he'll probably get like 160-ish targets, 170 maybe. Derek Carr will still get the ball in his hands. The way he plays the game, he's going to get, once again, kind of like Diggs, like 30 to 40 more catches than Chase, which is why I still love him. I could see, 13 to 1,400 yards, maybe around 9 to 10 touchdowns. Very, very solid performance. Yeah, that brings us to number 5, which is Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase, they've had talks already about this, but it looks like they're going to be playing a lot more 2 high safeties from a defensive perspective, meaning Chase won't have those crazy volatile 50-yard TDs as often. He'll still have some of them, and he'll probably catch some slants and take him to the house. But I don't think we'll quite see what we saw year 1, where it's like the dude is just on another level when it comes to being a deep threat. Joe Burrow with like the number 1 accuracy for deep targets. Like, I don't think we'll see that level of efficiency again, but I could see a lot more volume in the underneath routes. Joe Burrow's already come out and said that him and T. Higgins are going to have to start playing a little more underneath, which is good for like full PPR because it could be more like a like a Deebo Samuel from last year where he gets like a ton of short range targets, but like those targets just add up and add up and add up. So still like Chase, but I do think that he's a little more limited than guys like Devonta or Diggs or Justin Jefferson. So that's why I have him at 5. Most people have him at 3 to 4 range, at least in half PPR. In full PPR, I think the other two are like pretty solidly ahead. But that's going to do it for the top 5 rankings for fantasy football wide receivers. If you guys like the video, drop a like. Please drop a comment and sub to the channel. We're trying to grow. We just hit 2K followers. Sorry, 2K subs. I'm so used to saying followers because of TikTok. But yeah, boys, let me know if you want to see wide receivers 6 through 10, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.